Liati Joseph Anoa'i, a name that in 2004 would probably draw more confused stares than interested glares. A name that in 2014 would probably take you talking up to 100 people before the 101st one said, "Hey, I know the name. You related to them some more wrestlers?" Joseph Anoa'i. In 2024, known by millions. But that's only because of the legacy he set under his ring name.
You're gonna acknowledge me.
This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
What going now? What it do? No, based on the intro, and if you started watching wrestling like last year or so, you would think that Roman Reigns, this conquering champion, this tribal chief, was always and has always been a big deal. Well,
Nope.
you see, the road to greatness is plagued with potholes, speed bumps, and steep drops. Pro wrestling isn't like other media. An athlete like LeBron James or Cristiano Ronaldo can be propped up by the media endlessly, and a large number of fans can look at that and detest them for it. But those same fans can never deny the greatness that these two exude on the court or on the pitch, and denying their status as all-time greats is just next level denial and bitterness. Wrestling, however, is scripted, fake, an act. You know, whatever you want to call it, to just say that it's not real. Even if I prop somebody up to be great, even if I hire the best writers to make sure he looks like the real deal, if it's executed poorly and the people aren't interested, or worse yet, disgusted by the mere fact that that man is being shoved down their throats, that man will never be regarded as anything but a failed vanity project. Roman unfortunately had to endure this sort of pressure for the better part of the late 2010s. I'm not going to get into the history of his career and all that, because this video is about to be about his title run, but a brief synopsis or backstory is needed. Joe was born the son of Wild Samoan Sika in 1985, a member of the Anoa'i wrestling family. Not interested in business initially, he'd take up professional football. However, an unfortunate diagnosis of leukemia would hamper those dreams, and eventually, Joe would find his way into wrestling. Fast forward all the way to 2015, after the dissolution of his group The Shield and the beginning of John Cena's part-time status, Roman was positioned to be the next face of the company. But there was one slight issue though. You see, WWE fans at this time were firmly behind the hype of Daniel Bryan, and the WWE writers, probably out of spite or just poor writing, would constantly position Roman Reigns as the big dog, inadvertently ruining the mystique that his character had built up during the Shield days. Roman would get booed out the building for years. Eventually, and unfortunately, it took his leukemia coming back in 2019 for the fans to actually sit down and start to actually sympathize with Roman Reigns. He would take a break from wrestling for a while and return to minimum fanfare, skipping all the way to 2020, and he's heading into WrestleMania 36 to face off against Bill Goldberg. Unfortunately, or fortunately in this case, the crown sick, I can't say the actual word in here on YouTube, would hit just weeks before Mania, and due to health concerns, Reigns would take a leave of absence before the show. And if this break taught us anything, is that sometimes all we need is a little break from our work to make things really and truly work. Don't believe me? Check this out. So, SummerSlam was set to close out with the match between The Fiend Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. Bray had just successfully taken out Strowman when out of nowhere,
Oh my God, what the hell? Who the hell? And he's beating the hell out of the Universal Champion! Roman Reigns with his...
yes, Roman Reigns is back after a 5-month hiatus with a new attitude, a slightly altered ring gear, and new determination. He was back to reclaim the belt that he never lost. Seeing Roman after what felt like a year was great. Remember, this was 2020, the year which each month went by at the pace of counting rice. However, he was back as a heel this time, and even though it was something folks had been clamoring for, we weren't too sure on it as yet. You see, when the Shield broke up, Roman had basically retained every single aspect of his character from beforehand. He was just on his own this time. From the riot gear, to the entrance music, to the mannerisms, he was the same character. So everybody was very skeptical about what direction they were going to take him in.
Believe that.
That's right. Paul Heyman was now his manager. Paul had been off TV after Brock's exit following WrestleMania 36. So when he showed up alongside Reigns on August 28th episode of SmackDown, everybody got excited. Remember Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar's rivalry? And we will get back to that later on in depth. It had been a major on and off trope since 2015, and Brock was being represented by none other than Paul Lee. There was a layer to this, but like I said, I'll get back to it a bit later. Roman was inserted into the Braun and Bray rematch at Payback, and would handily defeat them to regain the title belt that he never lost. Fans were excited to see what was next for Reigns, but even when something was expected in this run, nobody saw that it was coming 100% of the time. SmackDown will hold a fatal 4-way to determine the new #1 contender for the Universal title: Sheamus, Baron Corbin, Big E, and Matt Riddle. But before the match could start, Big E would get taken out. So who would replace him? Let me look at all the names of SmackDown at this time. Oh, maybe he know. Jey Uso. Yes, Jey Uso. If you saw Jey Uso being that replacement during the live broadcast, you're lying to yourself. And if you saw him being the one that would win the whole damn thing, I can't trust you around me cat life, bro. He was a dirty liar. But yes, with his brother on the shelf injured, Jey would become the #1 contender for his cousin's title at Clash of Champions. Maybe we could see an Uso dynasty begin.
Man, shut your bitch ass up.
Come on, though, y'all got more sense though. Nah, he just gets his ass handed to him to the point where Jimmy has to throw in the towel for him. Wow. Anyways, he gets a rematch at Hell in a Cell, and while I was never really invested in this feud to begin with, this match really told a great story and showed just how desperate Roman Reigns was to get back to the top spot. How desperate he was to show those people that spent 6 years booing him just for doing his job why he's just that good. Reigns would lock Jey in a guillotine. I also forgot to mention that this was an I Quit match, under the stipulation were that if Jey would essentially become Roman's errand boy if he lost, hammering in the point that he is the true star in the family. The ref tried calling the match, but Reigns would not let it happen. Jimmy would end up again saving his brother's life by making his way to plead on his twins' behalf, seemingly showing good old Joey the error of his ways. And this is why he just gotta let his siblings to deal with their own problems. With his injured brother clutching to him, Jey said, "I quit." Roman showed in that moment that even though he's aware of how much misery he caused his family, sometimes a man would go to the extra mile just to prove his point. Jey would then become the right-hand man of his cousin, the newly anointed tribal chief of his family, adorned with the sacred Olafalua by his father and uncle. Reigns had now formed what would become known as the Bloodline. His next opponent would be Kevin Owens, after he found KO to be quite disrespectful to his family. Just a sidebar, I don't get any hype behind KO. Never have, to be honest, and never will. Anyways, Roman would bust his ass or get bailed out by Jey for the next 3 defenses, culminating in a last man standing match at the Royal Rumble in 2021.
Slow down, nigga!
At that same event, returning veteran grappler and serial sexual deviant Edge would win his second Royal Rumble, with the choice of going after either Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns. Reigns would then face off against former reality TV star and notorious environmentalist, the American Dragon at the Elimination Chamber. Bryan and Reigns would have a good scrap, but Reigns came out on top. So we're only about a month going into Mania, and it's still undecided who Edge is going to face.
Edge, hit me across the back with the steel chair.
This is mine! Mine!
Well, he made his decision. Edge gotta be suffering from CTE, because I don't understand. I have no clue why Edge did this, because nothing in his storyline made it make sense, except that Edge was just being his deranged self. Because regardless of who won, he was still in the main event. He's won a Royal Rumble before, and he's been in multiple. He does know that the only way you can lose your title opportunity is to by forfeit, right? I mean, he was there when Vince did it in 1999. Come on, Edge. Come on, bro. This would be, however, to his detriment, as Bryan got inserted into the match anyway, making the main event of Mania 37 the first show to be in front of a live audience since the pandemic started, to be a triple threat match. After a great match, a fired up Edge seemingly had it won, before Anoa'i who stepped in and accosted him once again, giving Roman the edge, you get it, to hit a concerto on him and pin both men to close out the show, cementing his first historical moment with the belt. But was this always the plan? It's important to note that a lot of inside talks at this time were that Edge was set to defeat Roman Reigns for the title, securing his final world title before ultimately retiring and completing his story of his comeback. But apparently, when word that Bryan announced he wouldn't be resigning, the bet was given co-headline billing as a pseudo severance package. I don't know how true any of this is, but I do know that 2 weeks after Mania, Reigns would beat Daniel Bryan in a career versus title match, effectively punt kicking him into the hands of Tony Khan.
It is fading. Daniel Bryan may be out.
Roman and the Bloodline would continue their dominance on SmackDown, and Reigns would draw the ire of disgraced filthy animal and deadbeat father, Rey Mysterio, after beating his son,
Dominic!
Rey, deciding to be a father, finally challenged for the Universal title in yet another Hell in a Cell match. Shout out to Cesaro, who I forgot during the writing the script. Yeah, he had a match at Backlash with Reigns, and I had no idea that this. Well, I had no idea. I can't remember this even happening. I don't even recall Cesaro being a mid card at this point, bro. But shouts out to him, and everything or wherever he there. But back to Reigns. After vanquishing Rey Mysterio, Reigns was on his usual stick, out on SmackDown, asking everybody in the crowd to.
You think you know me?
But apparently when they were training him to be the next John Cena, he wasn't paying attention because Edge would once again sneak up and attack him. This would set up a match at Money in the Bank, and for the second match in a row, somebody would cost Edge's win. This time, it was Seth freaking Rollins. Great. Now Roman Reigns can finally take a break.
Oh my God! Seth is here!
Oh shit, the GOAT is back? Hell yeah! Cena, back since WrestleMania 36, challenges Reigns at SummerSlam, almost a year and a day to his return appearance. Reigns is hesitant at first, but the spurring from Cena gets to him, and eventually the match is set. But come on, dog. As much as we all wanted Cena to get World Title 17, he wasn't beating Roman Reigns, dog. Reigns would beat Cena cleanly. Wait, did I say cleanly? I meant with the help of the Bloodline, of course. And yes, after non-stop defenses over the past year, we can safely say Roman Reigns is entering his first full year as a champion. Finally, after all those contests, he can finally catch his breath.